Maple Treeway, definitely. So,
it's their homeland. Let's be honest.
Yeah, exactly right. I wish I knew what had already been voted so far, but I imagine most of the BCs. You said BC3 was one of the tracks. Was BC Wii one of the other ones?
BC Wii was a track. I don't remember if BC3 was, but I know for a fact BC Wii and Sherberland, your curse tracks. We're not going to see that here. It already happened.
Well, I mean, it still counts as every match I've casted has had Sherberland today.
Oh, that's true. That's
Even though I didn't see it, it's still a reality.
So we're up here in the homeland of the Canadians in Maple, and as you can see, they have 1, 3, 4. It looks like right off the bat, and 3 of bottom 4 coming in for Italy.
Yeah, I wanted to say like that maneuver to do the jackstrap not really working out was kind of tragic, but that allowed him to grab a star, which is going to be really crucial for him to hold. I think. Strike that from the notes. Would have been. Yeah, had to avoid the red shot.
Oh my goodness.
Well, this man really be proving my point that this is a custom track, though. All in lap 1, big fan of this.
This is just home field advantage for Canada. Come on now, you gotta play with the terrain,
right?
And the green shells apparently too. He really didn't need to get hit by that one, but I mean, you know, again, home field advantage. It's really coming in strong for Canada.
This poor man is suffering all kinds of nonsense at the hands of Canada right now. I mean, you think that the track would be sticky because, you know, maple syrup and all that, but it's the polar opposite. He's getting launched everywhere. Training a star into here, but as you'll find, that turn doesn't really work too well moving at high speed. So really smart plan to you know, brake. I think Canada just have a massive break on this one.
Yeah.
We're seeing, I think, what, Tricks in 6th, is that? Or 7th right there? But other than that, I think they've got 1, 2, 3. It's really not good.
Yeah, Zesty has been playing Daisy, so it looks like top 2, 4, 5 right now for Canada. And Sal's going to have to wait until they're clear from the cannon to throw that blue. So that should be hitting them maybe... hopefully after the Wiggler section, because they could have the potential of a ground star there, but with it having to go through cannon, it might have a little bit of enough delay to get past that. Venom hitting the jackstrap trap, and the blue shell connects near the boost pads though, so really not going to slow them down too much, and it's still probably top 2, 4, 5 for Canada.
Yeah, this isn't looking too fantastic. If Italy do have the shock, they need to use it now, possibly to shock second or third over the gap. First is just gone, there's no point even bothering with that, but they need to occupy as many of the mid spots as possible, but it's looking like it's already over.
And it is a Canada shock coming in.
Canada has the shock as well, so that is essentially it, not really much Italy can do. That's going to be 6, 7, 8, 9, I believe, possibly from Italy there, depending on if the bagger can acquire 9th.
But that's the thing on this track. Typically, when both baggers are back there, the person that gets the shock will end up driving forward. So if you get the shock, it's typically shock and 9th almost every time.
Yeah.
So just more salt on the wound here.
Right. You know, like just gotta.
Spart did stay last, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
The top 3, 5. It's a huge race coming in for Canada. And you're really starting to feel the pressure now if you're Italy. You can't put up anything less than top 3, 5s probably the rest of the way out.
It's unfortunate because, like you said, they're definitely working to stay in it. They were able to fight the previous GP to tie it all out, but they had that 48-point deficit after GP1, and they just can't afford to be having any races that go in this direction that just push them further away from being able to take the win from Canada. With only, 3 tracks left now?
Yep, 3 tracks remaining.
They're going to need to pull out the big guns and just start gunning for the top spots. They need to find a way to break through Canada's defenses up top and just stay there. They're very adamant on Delfino Square, which I personally think is a good choice. If Canada do decide to run that one, because of the dynamic of the house section where you've got the shroomless duck, you've got the double, the single shroom cut, they're not doing any of that because that completely changes the scope of the race. They can hang around in mid spots, get shrooms and megas, possibly stars in the bottom spots, allows them to catch back up. Interesting to see if Canada will adapt to that and have someone sit in the mid pack just in case they do go for that to kind of cushion the blow. I don't know. I find races on this track fascinating. I know people hate this track online because it just doesn't have a consistent viable strategy on it, like a lot of other tracks have. But I think that's what makes it so fascinating to me.
I think of this track a lot like I do Peach Gardens, where yes, shock can absolutely turn the tides of the race, but if you have the resources in the beginning of shrooms or, you know, chaining a star and going through cut, you can run it. If no shock comes in, or if your team can sit there and hold it, you can run this track. But everyone is constantly, ooh, that's actually big, because that will probably be a 20-point penalty against Canada. So Italy, especially if Sal can catch back up here, I know it's the first lap of Delfino, but if Sal can get back up here and Italy has a good race, that's
if they get top 2 in that, this will be a massive swing in the opposite direction. I don't think the Canadian bagger expected a member of Italy to be so far behind. They probably just weren't thinking, you know, like most of the midst of the pack had already done that whole section. They probably went, it's good to go through the cut, to go backwards in my star now, and just unfortunately just happened to be in the wrong place at the right time. This should catch Sal back up quite nicely now, pulling a golden in 8th. So he's still definitely not out of it. The only
he'll use it. He should use it. Yep, on the straightaway here, just to catch back up, burn it a little bit. You're still in, you know, a bottom spot, and there's 2 more Canada people that are back here. So we have Jas and Kyle in 6th, 8th, and Zesty right in front of him in 5th. So Italy overall occupying a lot of the top spots. It's just Tricks up there, and a great pull in 7th as a star for Sal.
I'm guessing Italy are up front because I just watched Jas throw a blue in 6th, so they're definitely occupying the top spots there. I don't know. Yeah, that might actually matter in the grand scheme of things, because he was in like 7th when he used that initially.
Yeah, and yes, Canada shock.
Yeah, he could have pulled something else out of that. You never know. It's hard to know.
Kyle was a mega, easily could secure first.
Absolutely, but that red's going to be a game changer right there. Kyle managing to make his way up, and while Kyle and Jas were hanging in the back on that track for most of it, they managed to, you know, turn the tides around. Really unfortunate there. Italy definitely holding a lot of the fort up front throughout most of that, and then that penalty obviously going to be useful for them. I don't know if it's going to make too much of a difference. It might just cushion the blow of what the US's shock was able to do there, which kind of just balances the race out entirely.
And this is a do or die match for Italy. They have to win. I'm pretty sure if Canada wins this, Canada and USA East, I think, is the other team in the bracket, and I think USA East is already clinched. So it's really better seed, and if you're Canada, if you win, you want to win by as much as possible to try to rival USA East, and if you're Italy, you lose and you're out.
Yeah, I think that was a 23 to 38 race, if my math was correct. So with the minus 20 and then them losing the race by that, it only really gets them 5 points, the grand total. It's just, unfortunately, it's just not really going to cut it. Alternatively, my math sucks and I haven't been in school for a long time. Minus 9 race for Canada, including the penalty. Okay, so yeah, never trust my math.
I will never hold it against you. I am cool. Also far out of college and haven't been to school in many years.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I would hope no one judges my math either.
Most people, I actually learned that a lot of people's ability to do math in this game, like quick arithmetic, is actually based on the clan war system of like calculating the scores quickly, like being able to go 1, 3, 5, 7, 8, 9, boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, is that how you doing it? Interesting.
I mean, more power to them. I will just type it in the calculator.
For sure. No, there's no shame in that. I mean, where I'm from, we have a calculator test and a non-calculator test. You get graded for both, so I don't know if it is that way over there or not.
I don't remember having it split both ways. I think there were times that they would give us a non-calculator test, but obviously those questions would be much easier because
of course
we're silly and dumb Americans. So
you said it, not me. GC and Mario, though.
Giving you an out, just giving you an out.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. I mean, I don't want to take it, you know. I'm interested to hear about GC and Mario on your perspective. This is the first time I've seen this. This seems like a very much last-ditch attempt to make something work here.
This is a good man track. Good men will pick this track.
right? Very valiant effort to go here, I feel, because it's essentially do or die. You never know what can happen with this one.
Agreed.
Because there's barely any cut opportunities, and it all comes down to the chains on the first set. Not going to be able to avoid the reds, unfortunately.
Really spamming this golden to get back up here. I don't know how I feel about that, because the golden here is so good, and you could have gone far, but Kyle getting that TC and a single shroom in 5th now. I think he had potential.
3-4 though. Right, 3-4-5, possibly 2. I can't see. This is going to be very bad.
Huge POW though coming in from Canada. I think it was Zesty's POW.
Forcing, yeah. Well, Italy dodging in first place, so they get first secure, and they managed to get some of their players out the back to you know.
That change shots on Team Canada.
No, absolutely.
You can see it in his eyes.
I don't think that's going to be enough, unfortunately. Really hard to catch back up on this track, especially after plays like that. Kyle dodging that shot, definitely helping Team Canada out a lot to negate the blow of Italy dodging an Omega at the front.
And the star in the back with, I think it's Trattore was the one that dodged back there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's going to go back and see his friend the Chain Chomp. He wants sweet revenge. He wants to know why he was wronged. He wants to know why he was wronged so hard.
Oh, he tried again.
Yeah. Funky giving him the eyes, dude. He's like, I see you trying that. Yeah, I understand his frustrations at this point. Like, it's annoying when you've got your teammate and they've got the dodges and it's all good and you've got this amazing play scripted, ready to go, and then they just throw a power into the works, and all of a sudden that plan that you've got in your head, forced in your head, just comes crumbling down. You're forced to use your Mega in a high spot. Your members in the back just have to chain a star at the first set and hope that something good comes out of it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Italy chose that. I think, yeah, that one GP where Canada and Italy were able to kind of like balance it out was fantastic. But it's like I mentioned previously to Aiden, I think the mental game in this game is such a massive component of it. Some of these races have just ever so slightly tipped off in that way where it can be so easy to just break your mentality.
And it doesn't even have to be just all at once. It's just if you get a little bit just mental deterioration, just a little bit at a time, just chips away. Someone stops and trolls you, someone, you know, backs you two turns in a row, and all of a sudden you start playing worse and worse, or that desperation starts to settle in, and you really feel like you need to make a play, and then something else hits you, and bam, you hit a brick wall, and then it's just, you're done. You just kind of lose it all there, and you really struggle to kind of pick yourself back up, and it's hard to do it solo, and you really need your teammates to help pick you back up in one way or another, whether it's putting out a good race in spite of, you know, things that happen to you, or just really letting you know, like, hey, you know, we got your back, like, we got this, we're fine, none of it, we're fine, nothing here is going to be a problem. And I think in Sal's case, he really needed his team to step up and get a good race there despite everything that happened to him.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know if it's really even doable at this point. They're just playing it out at this point. They put up a good fight though. Like there were no races where they were completely down and out from what I saw at least. But yeah, other than Maple Treeway where they just managed to get up front and that was the end of it, and that's what she wrote. TF coming out strong. I'm wondering if Canada voted this one on purpose because Kyle is currently on 45. That dodge coming in huge for him in the RMC. So they might be going for the big 60 for him. Not entirely sure. I mean, like, they've already probably secured the whole thing in the bag at this point, so you may as well have a bit of fun with it, right? Speaking of fun, that was really cool. Thanks for switching it to that briefly so I could see that and then switching away from it. That actually really made it so much more memorable. So Justice is doing that, exploring that little crevice down there.
7th. This is just everything you don't want to see if you're Sal right now.
The game's just not giving you a bone, dude. It's giving the bone to the chain shot on RMC. You're just having to sit there and just watch it all out. Opting to drive on the side here. Yeah, I don't know. It's just insult to injury, salt in the wound. Not really what you want.
And that top 2 from Canada is gone, and that was Kyle and Trix, with Trix having 2 reds in second at the beginning of that race. Probably that being all she wrote. and it might just be a 60 for Kyle.
I think it's a 60 for Kyle. I think they just went, you know what, buddy, 45 on the line. Oh, getting a dodge for Jas, though. So they're still working as a team, which is nice to see. You know, they've already secured the victory probably at this point, but they managed to get him back up there after he had that little, you know, Bill adventure on that one-turn lap too. But they probably did vote this with the idea of, you know what, we've already got this sorted out. Kyle, you're in 45. And yeah, I did barely see it there before we switched back to Sal's POV, but Kyle did indeed pull the big 60. Big 60 for Canada right now. Truly really good stuff from Canada's there. Definitely shout outs to Italy for staying in it. Like I don't think they gave up. They didn't give up their hopes or their spirits in that one. But unfortunately, it just seemed like Canada had the advantage with pulling leads and pulling the lightning when they needed it. They got all of the right circumstantial items when it suited them, and they were able to make the plays they needed.
Yeah, it was. Someone needed to buy Kyle dinner after that. That I think was his best performance so far. He had a great GP1 too, and I did not see his score for GP2, but Kyle really he came in initially as a sub for Canada, and wasn't really expecting to play. I think Mikey was supposed to be along with Zesty, Trix, and Jas, the main lineup for Canada, and Kyle kind of finding his footing there a little bit. So congrats to him, congrats to Team Canada, and hopefully they can keep it moving.
Finding his footing, dude. He was paving the floor with golden tiles in that for a 60 in World Cup. What are you talking about? Finding his footing, my man. He was building the yellow brick road for Dorothy to walk on. He's got it under control. I'm not surprised if they don't think of having him in more lineups. Like he's clearly like an underdog at this point. Like you said, like a renowned T tier from back in the day that always struggled in the mid pack situations, finding his way up front, and now he can just run it. And if he's got good teammates behind him, then he can just push it all the way.
Yeah, great job overall. So. The chat's going crazy. Interview Kyle. All right, that's probably not happening for this match, but that was a great performance from him. Great win for Canada, and I think that is Italy being out of group stages.
I can confirm that is probably if not definitely the case. Hi both of y'all. Thanks for guiding us through that the last 4 races there. We have, I think, just one more match in all of our group stages. And if we're to say anything, I have the standings up from earlier today, just for reference, not updated, but from what we can see and what we can draw from the results happening today, it should be Japan and Netherlands Japan in first, second place Netherlands, USA West finishing off in first place, 3-0 now. Latin America finishing off 2-1, having just lost to them. Canada now 2-0, right tied up there with US East. And they are going to play the very last match of the group stage, US East versus Canada. A kind of classic between a USA team, at least, versus Canada. I don't think Canada have fared too well in history, but they have always kind of given it a close performance. So a very close match to end off the day later, coming soon in just over an hour. And yeah, Group D, of course, Norway and UK. UK taking that one to the bank. So curious for thoughts from both of you guys. I know the glimpse into that last match was, not as much as we'd like to see, but did you guys think that Italy would have, 0-3 as they did in this group, going into, and, playing against Canada, US East? Did all these results go as expected for you all, or did you see maybe some different shakeups happening?
I can go ahead and take the first stab at this, and
yeah.
I don't think Italy should have gone 0-3, and I think that really comes down to the TC that happened on BCW against Asia. So yes, that was a great upset by Asia, and maybe Italy should have put them farther away, but I don't think Italy would have lost that without that DC going into the last race of BCW. So very unfortunate for them. I even could have seen Italy taking a match away from someone else, whether it's USA East or Canada. Obviously, Canada looked really strong there, But even then, it wasn't like Italy was all the way out of it. They had a really rough first GP, but they showed that they could hang with them by tying the second GP and then having a rough end. And I think it really just came down to desperation in the third GP. So again, anything can happen, especially in a one war match. So
Yeah.
I easily could have seen Italy stealing out of groups there.
I feel like in an alternate timeline, that match could have changed everything. Where Italy, you know, they had just tied that second Grand Prix. If they had a huge GP3, we would have had a three-way tie that is decided by point differential. So it really, really could have gone either way. But, you know, that's not the way it panned out. And, yeah, I kind of was on the same boat. Italy could have done something big. I was really looking forward to that. But, you know, it just wasn't meant to be. Thoughts, sights on any other groups, I guess?
You know what? I think everything else panned out the way that I thought it would. Japan versus Netherlands may have been one that I could have seen going another way. France without Thomas kind of was about where I expected, and USA West group, I thought the way that I thought maybe I could have seen Denmark if they decided not to go the 5-run strat every time, pull out of that group. But that would have really been the only other one. Everything else, Germany was kind of surprising, but they had a really rough group there with both Norway and the UK. So I really think they panned out the way that I expected them for the most part. I think maybe just like one or two spots here or there, but for the most part, I think who ended up getting out was along the lines of what was expected.
Yeah, because when you think about it, I mean, all teams have equal opportunity at doing well in this, right? It all just comes down purely down to the credentials of the runners, the experience of the baggers, the team synergy, and then essentially just the right item pools and making the most out of every shot that you get, every blue that you get, making the right calls. And some of the teams definitely have a better edge when it comes to that, I've noticed, with the strategy that they've got going on. Whereas the teams that have less of a strategy, or they kind of make the strategy up as they go along, it kind of hinges on their ability to perform, I feel.
Right.
I honestly, I'm really still trying to get over that Germany versus UK match, man. Like, that was ages ago, and I was here for that, and I'm just still trying to wrap my head around the fact that the UK had the strategy, and they had the lead, and they had the runners, and they were going at it, but then, like, Kevin from Germany was single-handedly making all these plays to just bring them all back in, and as a team, they managed to pull it all the way back until the very end. So I honestly thought Germany was going to pull through there.
It really could have changed everything. Like, there are certain, I mean, we talked about the Italy versus Canada match just now. Like, if one thing had gone another way for like a GP, right, then the whole group could have changed. But like, that's comparing, you know, a full GP. UK and Germany was literally a single race, a single position, and we could be in an entirely different situation right now where, you know, the implication of UK versus Norway mattered a lot. Like, it would have been a three-way tie for 2 and 1. So, or it could, it would have been, because Germany ended up later beating Mexico by a huge amount. So, yeah, we could have definitely seen a different group result there in Group C. And if Ireland busted out, you know, their full-on lineup against Latin America, who knows? And France even. You could look at France. The result they had against Japan, Japan and Netherlands were like definitely nothing to scoff at. So I think, like, yeah, in a variety of respects, a lot of things could have gone certain ways, but they just tilted on the edge. The result tilted and leaned into the edge of those that, you know, have had the better track record, the better seeding, and it just went their way.